Another thing that's, I think, really interesting is we wanted to make sure that we put those awesome Dallas jerseys on it. That's something that's part of the story that Shahan J. Roger wrote for our magazine. It's about how they've kind of embraced wanting to be Dallas's team. Mm-hmm. So much so that we actually caught up with the mayor of Dallas, Mayor Eric Johnson. You had a conversation with him last week, had a great conversation with him about what this cover means and what SMU football is meaning to the city of Dallas. Here's Ashley's conversation with Dallas Mayor Eric Johnson here on Texas Football Today.
With SMU quarterback Shane Buechele being the Dave Campbell's 2020 cover boy, proudly repping that Dallas on his jersey across his chest, we figured what a better guy to talk to than the main guy in town. We're joined by Dallas Mayor Eric Johnson. Mayor Johnson, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this with us today. We really appreciate it. So we'll go ahead and we talked a little bit earlier, you have not seen the cover yet. So we're going to give you a little sneak peek of it here. We'll pull back the curtain. We're recording this on Friday, so he's getting one of the first things. And there you go, man. What do you think about that?
That is awesome. That's awesome. Wow. That's a great shot.
We're very pumped. We know that Shane has seen it at this point, and he was also very excited. So there you go. Pony up right across the top there. So we'll go ahead and ask you, what does it mean to the city of Dallas to have SMU on the cover of the 2020 Texas Football Edition?
It's a huge testament to just how far this program has come. We've been waiting for this in Dallas. Those of us who grew up SMU fans like I did as a kid, I had a cousin that played for SMU in the 80s. And, we've been waiting for a long time for SMU to start bringing, a lot of smiles back to the people's faces in Dallas, and they're doing that. They're winning games. They're winning in an exciting way. They've got a very awesomely charismatic young quarterback in Shane Buechele, and so it's just such a great thing for him and that program to be on the cover. I love it. It's a great cover.
Fantastic. Well, we got the seal of approval then. We love that. But I know that those Dallas jerseys were a big deal this past season, actually putting the name of the city on there, and you've got the D on the helmet. We know that your office and the city of Dallas had a lot to do with those jerseys. Kind of take us through what was that process like and the inspiration from those jerseys.
Well, the idea originated with SMU. They decided under leadership of their very talented and just a great guy, coach, Steve Dykes. They just decided that what they wanted to do was to really recapture the magic that SMU had when they were, playing at the Cotton Bowl, and you had some of the legends of the game wearing that jersey, and really the close association they had with the city back then. If you look at the SMU seal, it says Dallas, Texas at the bottom of the seal. The school started with a contribution of land from the city of Dallas, and that relationship was once really, really strong. Coach Dykes is aware of how I feel about SMU and the program, and he reached out to me and said, "Hey, we got a surprise for you. We think you're going to like it." I came out and flipped the coin for the first game, and they were wearing those jerseys, and I was almost floored. They're beautiful jerseys. I mean, one of the best college football jerseys I've ever seen.
Absolutely. And obviously it felt like those jerseys were kind of a call to the people who live in Dallas. Like, look, we're your school. This is what we want. And so how important is it for everyone who lives in the city of Dallas to show pride in SMU and say, that's our home school?
Well, I think it's really important. We got a lot of kids here in our community. I've tried to strengthen the relationship between the city and DISD as well. We've got a lot of young people who I'm just trying to encourage to go on to higher education, period, wherever they might want to pursue it. But they need to know that they've got a great university in SMU that's right here in our community that actually cares about Dallas, has its origins with the city of Dallas, and they can go there and get a great education. And I think, they're doing a great job of reaching out to the city, to not just the athletes. And sure enough, SMU is doing a better job of recruiting locally. I've seen some recent signees from Dallas Madison High School in South Dallas, which is actually where my dad went to high school. So I'm happy to see the local recruiting, but I'm also happy to see kids who are not athletes saying, SMU, never thought about that. So that's just a great thing for our city. Keep our talent local. And when they graduate, they can come run for office and get involved in public service or join our business community or our medical community or our legal community. We've got it all here in Dallas. Very diverse economy, and SMU is a big part of it.
Absolutely. And you know this probably better than anyone. Shane Buechele, obviously just an unbelievable athlete on the field, but he deeply cares for the Dallas community. And very recently, with the COVID-19 pandemic, him and his girlfriend Paige donating more than $50,000, raising that money and giving it to the disaster relief fund. What does it mean for him to not only be an icon from a football perspective, but go out and helping out the community?
Well, Shane and Paige are quite the duo. They're very impressive young people. I've told them that in this selfie culture we live in this social media, Instagram, look at me culture, for them to use the platform they have to help others is quite remarkable. It stands out, and I appreciate it very much. But let me tell you something about Shane Buechele. When you watch him play, you can see how much heart he plays with, how big his heart is on the field. But I had no idea he had such a big heart off the field for the community. And it turns out he's just an amazing young man, not just a great leader on the football field, but a great leader in our community. And you know what? Hope he stays local and gets involved in public service someday. So I'm putting in a plug for Shane Buechele to get involved with city government here at some point.
We'll make sure to tweet that little clip at him and see what he says about that. But now diving a little bit more into the football realm, what are you hoping? You said you grew up an SMU fan. What are you hoping to see from the Mustangs this year?
Well, I hope that they can build on the success from this past season. I watched almost every game. I attended several. I mean, I actually traveled, in fact, to watch them play against Navy, and it didn't come out the way we wanted it to. But, the program has really, really turned around under Coach Dykes. He's figured out how to get them to play pretty consistently on offense. They had a great passing attack with Buechele, and Prochet is going to be missed, but we've got some younger receivers who are going to step up, I think, and so I hope that prolific offense continues. On the other side of the ball, we're going to have to stiffen up a little bit. We're going to have to play a little firmer defense. There were some games I was watching where I'm like, this is like a basketball game. We're going to have the ball last and score, the most points, but we could do a little better on defense, but I think that we've got a great nucleus, a great foundation to build on. And we certainly have the coaching. Coach Dykes just comes from a great coaching family. He understands his X's and O's. He understands how to motivate the players. We talk before the game sometimes. I text him before they go on the field and tell him, hey, you tell them to win this one for the city of Dallas. And so when they play the University of Houston, they get a personal message from the mayor before they go out in that game. And Coach Dykes and the Mustangs are going to have a great season, I think.
Absolutely. That's what we're hoping for. And of course, Dave Campbell's obviously a big brand, not only in the college realm, but of course, Texas high school football. And like you talked about earlier, seeing those signees from Dallas, Madison, and just an unbelievable presence of high school football in the Dallas community. We know high school football leaves an imprint on a culture of a city. What kind of imprint does that leave on the culture of Dallas?
Look, I played high school football in Dallas. It was the last time I laced them up for a team. And, I remember my experience as a high school football player it's one of the formative experiences of my life. It taught me at a young age that, the way the world works, the way life works isn't it all about you? Other people are counting on you. You've got teammates who are counting on you to do your job, to show up where you're supposed to. And, it actually comes up in my life as an elected official. I've been saying a lot lately that, doesn't do any good to go and second guess or, what I call Monday morning quarterbacking for those of us who are old enough to remember when football was only on Sundays and you had to wait until Monday morning to criticize. Doesn't do any good to go and criticize decisions people have already made. That came from high school football, understanding that, hey, I was a running back. I wanted to run the ball 50 times a game. We didn't do that. When we called a pass play on 3rd and short in the red zone, I wasn't happy about it. But I didn't go miss my block on purpose or not do my job to prove a point. I went out and executed the play, even if I didn't agree with it. So there's a lot of lessons to be learned from high school football. It teaches you toughness, mental and physical toughness, which I think is something that is still relevant in our world today. And I think it's just a great sport, and it's so associated with Texas and so associated with our culture here, and it's important to our local economy and everything else. I mean, it runs through our veins down here. So I love it, and I love Dave Campbell's Texas football. He's been covering this. This publication has been covering the sport for a long time, for many years, and I love it.
Well, and you led right into my next point. Before I let you go, I'd be remiss not to ask. So I did some digging. Green Hill Academy, running back and linebacker. You're actually in our 93 edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. And in there, it said that at 210 pounds, you could run a 4.8 40. So my question for you is, man, could you still turn on the turbos and hit that 4.8 time now?
I think they may have been a little quick with that stopwatch even back then. We didn't have AccuTrack back then. I think it was a handheld stopwatch. It might have been a little fast, but I tell you what, I certainly enjoyed playing at Green Hill. It's a great school and great balance of academics and sports. And we had a decent season my senior year. Didn't beat St. Mark's the way we were supposed to. We let them come back and beat us. But I don't think I can still pull off the 4.8, but I'm not sure I ever did in the first place.
Well, maybe we'll have to get you out there and try it sometime. I'm sure the people who live in Dallas would absolutely love to see that. But Mayor, we can't thank you enough for taking the time. We're very happy to have you and SMU so close and in tight quarters, but we really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.